Promised I would go live. Oh, look, you can see that we got the Christmas lights in. And I've got a hat on because actually it was funny. I was looking at my recording of my TikTok today and I swear I saw a giant, like, white hair. It's so funny. This is opposite. Anyhow, I may have a white hair. That's okay. That's okay. I'm here. It's 8 a.m., 8 p.m. rather. Just hoping I got here in time. Hey, Cheryl. Nice to see you. I hope you can see and hear me. If you could just give me a little something, something as I try to. There we go. Make me smaller and you larger. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely have bedhead today. I did not even take a shower. It was one of those days. It was one of those days where I am. I don't know about you, but we had cold and rain and blurg. Ugh. Ooh, makes me want to put on even another layer. Even another layer. Alrighty, 8 p.m. YouTube Live. Haven't done one of these in a while. So we'll see. We'll see who shows up. Mail that. Okay, I'm doing pretty well on the stuff that I thought I'd get done today. Ooh. Now tomorrow, on the other hand, is a busy day. So, you guys, we're here. I'm sitting over here. There we go. Christine 982. Hello, hello, hello. I've adjusted myself so you can see the fact that we have the Christmas lights are on in the window here. You can't see. It's like one of those three-prong like candelabras, as they would say. Hey, look who it is, people. Carla Jane is in the house, and so is Judy Dukes and Leslie Mara. It's the crew. And we're not so motley, aren't we? So, yay. It's the evening YouTube Live crew. Yeah, it has been a while since we've done a YouTube Live, mainly because of so many awesome declutter parties over the past month. And also the evening ones are ones that I tend to do, make them a special thing, right? Hey, we've got Sue and we've got Danielle. Oh, thank you for loving the hat. Yeah, it's the end of the day. I have hat head and I was wearing it all day. And it's one of those things where you end up, like just being like, you know what, just leave it on. Okay. If you notice, I am also putting on some moisturizer. Anybody want to make themselves feel better physically? You know how we talk about that? I put on some chapstick. I am moisturizing my hands. I don't want to grab it and have it slip out of my hands, but I have my trusty, port of call, so I can hydrate with everybody. There we go. All righty. So there we go. All of a sudden, all sorts of good things. Low-key Beth Blinders tonight, says Leslie. Packing for an overnight trip tomorrow and wrapping Christmas gifts and sipping tea. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah. Interesting. Judy Dukes. I have no idea why the names have numbers behind them. 65445. Yep. I have no idea. You know what? Leave it to YouTube to do something. Now, Leslie's doesn't have it. One thing Cheryl Siegel has a 193. Christine has a 982. You know what? So random. Yeah. Hey, this is cool. Melanie, nice to see you. Carla Jane says, my across the road neighbor just took custody of her granddaughter and they needed things. So they took an entire trash bag of towels. Yay. Yay. Here we go. Let me do this. Why does my, YouTube name have a number after it? Yeah. You can change your handle. That was from a couple of years ago, though. So, yeah. Who the heck knows? We know who it is. Aw, that's so great. Carla Jane somebody was asking for help, and she said, "Come on in, friend." Yeah, and just think, Carla Jane, this time last year or the year before, would you have felt so comfortable letting the person into your house? You might have been like, "Ooh." So yay. There we go. Decluttering with a purpose, 100%. Yeah, I am decluttering. This was kind of fun. I am decluttering some of my good stuff that I am not using anymore to make it get a new home and trying to declutter in the time that it works. Um, I have a very cool kind of, I call it mid-century modern punch bowl set that I thrifted ages ago. And I've used quite a bit, usually during a holiday party or something for years. We're not really doing the holiday parties anymore with the punch bowl, and so it's been in storage for quite a while. So I am actually going out on Friday. I'm gonna go and I'm going to deliver it to a friend who sells mid-century modern stuff. He'll give me a couple of bucks, and then he'll find a good home for it. Now, Melanie D, anytime anybody is saying where to start, this is where I will say start with calming down your nervous system. When your nervous system is all kind of riled up, you think you don't know stuff that when you're calmed down, the answers might come to you, or you just may be more receptive to say, oh, you're right. I could do that. So, what I like to say is wherever you start, first of all, let's review like we do in the morning. How are you feeling from the crown on down? How are you feeling physically? Could you be more comfortable right now? Physically making yourself more comfortable eases you into nothing like that it's safe here. Okay. When you slow down and calm down and quiet down, oh, that's funny. I was talking out loud. Yeah. But what I will say is this, it kind of doesn't matter where you start, just that you start. So no matter where you go, the road towards destination decluttered starts with you starting on going in any decluttering direction. Now, at this time of night, for example, if you want to declutter, maybe it's like Leslie said, a low key clutter, a kind of tidy up after a day so that when you wake up tomorrow, it's a little bit better. Some clothes in the laundry, some dishes in the dishwasher or put away, wiping down some surfaces, clearing off some surfaces that have accumulated stuff. I hope that helps. Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Carla Jane, look at you. Look at you helping. No, ma'am, you aren't taken. You are helping me. Yay. Good stuff. Christine is saying, I finally decluttered the common area to the point I could properly clean and decorate for Christmas. Yay. I had friends over last night for dinner for the first time in years. Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely. Yeah, we had some friends over last night too, somewhat unexpectedly. We were supposed to go to somebody else's house and she couldn't do it. And because our house was decluttered, I was like, sure, come on, we can do it here. And it gave me that little kind of oomph, that push to decorate with some of our Christmas decor to get it out sooner rather than later. So wonderful. So, yeah. And I will say this, Sugar Cloud 47, if Christine can do it, you can too. If I can do it, you can too. If you want so badly to have company, then maybe what you do is you start in one room decluttering where you'd like to go and invite the people over who really don't even care if you're cluttered or not. Yeah. And see, Christine is now saying it was such a nice feeling. Just do what you can, and every little bit helps. Yes. Yes. Every little bit totally helps. This is how I found myself putting out actually more Christmas decor than I initially anticipated. I initially yesterday was like, well, I'll just put out this. Well, I have these two little angels. Where's a good place to put them? So I put them next to a picture of a friend who passed away. Oh, and then I found this is you guys, you know how I have my collection of snow domes. I also have a collection of holiday ones, the ticky tacky plastic ones that I love. But yeah, you can do it, Sugar Cloud. And just getting started and will make you feel good because you're going to be working towards a goal you're excited about. I look forward to. I look forward to what do I want? This is a thing I'm playing with. I'll share this with you guys tonight. All righty. Shell W is saying, thank you for having this tonight. I needed to hear all of this. I haven't had friends over in a year also. Okay. we can work towards it. Here's a fun thing I'm going to be experimenting with myself because I heard about it from somebody on TikTok. And again, if we haven't met yet, I always assume everybody knows me, especially on, not everybody knows me, but like the core group of people who are watching me on YouTube is substantially smaller than TikTok. So I sometimes forget that there may be new people here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. If you're here on YouTube, it's the YouTube. I've got a ton of videos here you can watch, and I occasionally do a YouTube live different times of the day. This is the one a week that I try to do some in the evenings. It doesn't always work out, but I do this. Okay. So, one of the things I want you to think about is when you say, what do I want? I want to have people come over, and then using that phrase as a basis to state, I am creating a space where I can have people over. Instead of I want, which implies you don't have it, which brings in that notion of lack, that you can use that kind of kickoff point of the I want to say, I am creating whatever it is that you want. I am creating, a home that is decluttered enough so I feel comfortable inviting people over. Okay. Just something I'm going to be playing with. So I just thought I would share that with you too. Yes. And you're right, Christine. It also helps to have people over who don't judge and only love. Thankful to have a great group of friends. Yes. And please notice if you have judgy people in your life and that makes you feel lousy, distance yourself from them, you know? Yeah. All right. There we go. Oh, I love it. Yay. Carla Jane is going through the process. I have a timeline. I love that, the roadmap. So she's going through it. Yep. Yep. How about this? I am creating a home for myself. You know, you can start calling it your home now. Something there. Melanie D says, I created, I love it, a bedroom that is serene and visually pleasing because you wanted, notice this, how you can make your own like wish list come true. I wanted a bedroom that is serene and visually pleasing. I created a bedroom that is serene and visually pleasing. Yeah. Yeah. Now let me ask you this. You know what? The vibe of the evening lives tends to be a little bit more low key than the typically morning TikToks, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that the situation is the same. That if you are feeling a bit struggly about some aspect of decluttering, please use this time together, and especially where there are so fewer of us here, to share with me, to get some support and encouragement and problem solving with where along the timeline, where along the roadmap of to getting from where you are to decluttered have you kind of stalled out. Do you know where you were stalled out? Is it a room in your house? Is it a certain layer of clutter? Think about it for a moment. And here's an interesting thing. I was talking to a client just yesterday about the fact that sometimes stopping does not mean you're stuck. It just means you have stopped. So don't overthink it, because here's a funny thing. You can overthink it, but the easiest way to find out where you're stuck is to start again, and you'll probably run into that roadblock sooner rather than later. So if nothing's coming to mind, if you just start decluttering, it's gonna come up. Damn it, there was something else I was gonna say. Totally lost my train of thought. Okay. But yep, Judy Dukes hadn't checked the schedule, so was glad to check. So you did check. You did check. It's just in a different order. Now I'm going to check the schedule now, because I should probably see, making sure we're okay. Yeah, so we don't have any December declutter parties scheduled now, because as I've mentioned to some of you, I'm going traveling for a handful of days now that my husband's home, and we are traveling together. And then also starting next week, I have some eye surgery, and I'm just not sure how that is going to affect me as far as being online or whatever. So I would rather play it safe. And as we used to say back in the day, like under promise and then over provide versus scheduling something and then having to cancel it. But please know that I will, as soon as I find out how I can get more parties on there, I will not only update the secret page, but I will also send out an email to be like, hey, check it out. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Emotional and personal. It helps my heart. Yay, good stuff. Alrighty. Judy Duke says, I was doing good decluttering for a while, but I have stalled out. Right when I was typing, you said it. Stalled out for sure. Okay. So when your car stalls out, there usually means there's something that's not connecting. Have you run out of gas? Do you not know your direction? Um, so one thing I want to offer to you, Judy Dukes, and this applies to everybody too. If you feel like you've been making good progress decluttering, what you're also doing, and this is what I should have used, maybe I used this analogy during Thanksgiving, but everybody here is probably fresh off of just even the concept of Thanksgiving. Think about decluttering like carving a turkey. Think about it this way. At the beginning of any decluttering, you have things in your house that you, for a while, have probably made the decision to let go of, and you just hadn't done it, but the decision had been made. You also are probably surrounded by a lot of stuff that's an easy decision to let go of at the beginning, because that's when you have the most stuff. So it's kind of like, my analogy is like cutting off like a big chunk of white meat off of like the turkey right at the very beginning, because you're starting with all of it, and so it can be easy to carve that off. What may have gotten difficult, Judy, is every time you get rid of the easy stuff, the next time you go into declutter, you're getting closer to the stuff that is uneasy, that is not so easy, that is making you that is getting closer to the, as they say, closer to the bone. It's just a little bit more. It's going to take a little bit more finessing if you really want to get down to like the skeleton of it. So just know that may be it, is that you've gotten rid of the easy stuff, and now you've got a quantity of things that require, or you would benefit from, some additional thought processes and things. Okay. And thank you, Melanie D, for the good vibes and loads of love for the complete recovery from my surgery. I know it's going to be okay. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard nothing but good things about it. But yeah, so think about it, Judy Dukes. Yeah, every time you let go of something easy, you're getting closer to the stuff that, and I love the word, instead of easy and hard, the stuff that makes you uneasy, the stuff that is causing a little bit of attention. So you might either consciously or subconsciously kind of pivot from that. So here's an interesting analogy too, and I've been using this one in my one-on-one coaching, so I will share it with you right now. Thank you, Shell W. I am taking care of myself. I'm good like that, but thank you. Is imagine yourself. Okay, so Judy Dukes, this is kind of what I'm picturing. Okay, Judy Dukes is in the Judy Mobile, right? And she is driving towards her destination decluttered, right? And up here, what I don't have shown, but I want you to imagine, is it is a straight line. It is a line. I'm not saying it's straight. It is a line between 2 points, where you are now and where you want to go. It's just like putting a destination in your GPS. There are a different number of routes you can take. But on every route, there will come a point where you're going, and the way closer to your destination is straight ahead at this kind of intersection, a four-way intersection, let's say. Okay. So you're there at a four-way intersection, and it's just you, nobody else. And there's a stop sign there. It's not a stop light. So it's a stop sign. And there's nothing coming either way. So you can move forward at any point, right? You may have a thought or a feeling or a feeling of energy that is giving you a reason, an excuse, a thought to say, don't go straight here. And then you might pivot. You might take a right or you might take a left. And keep on moving, but you're not moving towards that destination. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What I say is just get curious about what is going on at that intersection that has temporarily stopped you from moving forward towards your goal, and you may have, gone off in a different direction. Maybe, as I said, that the decluttering is getting to some of the deep stuff, and you don't feel like dealing with the deep stuff. So you might pivot and go deal with some surface clutter in another room. Um, you may be tired of making decisions, decluttering. So you may take a left and say, I can't do that. I'm going to go and, cook this recipe or go Christmas shopping or something and get yourself away from it. Um, so just get curious about that. I would say, I was thinking of Leslie, notice what happens when you picture yourself there and ask yourself, why, and not in a judgy way, but just in a curious way, why am I not moving forward? And I'm using Leslie's hydration word from this morning of notice to hydrate myself. Now I say, I have been decluttering for a number of days, and it does take a physical toll, and it does take an energetic toll on your body. It does leave you with less energy. Yeah. Yeah, lots of tea with that word notice, Leslie. That's great because honestly, Leslie, I don't even notice when I say notice. But you know what? If you think about it, and you better prepare if that's going to be your word. Notice something means that you have become aware. You're perked up. You are aware of something when you notice something. When you don't, I guess the opposite would be like oblivious, clueless, like I don't even notice what's going on around me. And noticing gives you options because you notice that you can continue in the direction you want or veer off. That you can, oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm not driving with what do you call that? Cruise control. I am in control of how fast and slow I got. And I notice maybe I'm dragging my feet, or I noticed I've been racing a lot and driving a lot and I want to cut back. Yeah. Exactly. Right. It's a great word, like curious. Yeah, there's certain words that open us up. It's almost like something that is judgment will shut you down, and it will shut you down externally, but also it kind of, to me, it almost like clamps down your brain. Like your brain puts a protective shell over it when some of these judgy, it's like you get into protection mode, almost like an armadillo, where you can kind of all curl up. But when you feel like you're in a safe environment and you're not being judged, noticing and being curious and feeling safe to share what you have found, and you're not afraid somebody's going to judge you, then you kind of open up, you relax. It makes me think of almost like a flower blooming, or even just a sponge that gets wet and it kind of goes, ah. And when you open up yourself and your brain, and you're in a area of safety, I could use better words, but they're the good one. They're fine for now. When you feel like you're in a safe area, you can relax and exhale and open up and even unclench. And then when you ask yourself, for example, when you've calmed down and gotten out of that fight or flight, because there's nothing to fight or flee from, then that's when you're co-pilot. You can hear them because you've quieted down the fear. And the co-pilot will say, wherever you want to start is fine. Yeah. Yeah. One of the best lessons from this group. I try to use them in understanding others too. Yeah, as do I. And trust me, I can coach a lot better in this environment. Putting it into practice on the daily takes a lot more effort, but it's worth it. Yeah. All righty. Shell W is saying, just finished bringing down to the basement all the fall stuff. Okay. Notice the cyclical nature, the seasonal nature of some of our stuff. Fall stuff goes down the basement, Christmas stuff comes up. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for keeping me company. Yeah. And here's a fun thing about this time of year is you can put on a little holiday music if that's your jam. I love the fact that even though it is so dark out, that I love the glow of the house, the room with just the Christmas lights on. Walking from room to room and it's a little cozy room. Yeah. So it can be fun to have just some folks to hang around with to make this kind of a nice little way of putting up bringing up the decor, putting it downstairs. Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Judy Duke says decision. I think that's spot on. Okay. Notice. Judy took some time and thought about it. Decision making dread. All right. So Judy, dread. Let's riff on dread, shall we? I feel like I'm almost like I'm not a very good comedian or a comedian, but like giving me a word and I'll riff on it. Dread, reluctance, fear. I dread something bad is going to happen. I dread making the wrong decision, you know? Judy Dukes, you don't need to share it right now unless you want to, but is there a certain category or item that's causing you that dread? Because what I would love would be to be able to help you kind of recognize what the fear is. Because when you do that, here's a fun thing, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to like use this analogy. When we are afraid of something, we often are afraid to look at it like, oh my God, like something's behind me in the alleyway. And sometimes what we're afraid of is because we see a big shadow, kind of reflected off of something. There's a shadow of something we're afraid of. We may not even know what it is, but we see this big looming shadow and we become afraid. So, but as long as we keep on walking forward, it will follow us and it will be a big shadow. However, if you stop and you are brave, and I know you're brave, you say, wait a minute, and you turn to face and just see what the fear is. Sometimes the fear is just a little tiny thing that casts a big shadow. But you will never find that out until you stop and are brave enough to even just, really? That's what I was afraid of? Being laughed at like that kid laughed at me in 3rd grade? So I just offer to you, yeah, dread is a flavor of fear. And fear tries to save us from something that we're afraid is going to hurt us and keeps us safe. But not everything not everything's going to kill you or really hurt you. Or if it's going to hurt, it might sting temporarily. And then you get on the other side of it. And then you're braver for having kind of faced your fears. All right. All righty. Yeah. Yeah. I love this. I love this. Carla Jane says, I know it may seem ugly, but I've adopted the attitude. If you want to judge what and how I'm clearing this space out, come on over and let me sit and watch you do it while I sip. And Carla's from the South because she's going to be sipping on some sweet tea, right? Yeah. People who judge think it's easy or whatever. I bet they're not doing it themselves. Yeah. Yeah. Judgers. Now, I know some of the things that here's actually, I'm going to pivot for a sec because I wrote this down to share with you guys because I have learned some things when going through my huge amount of sentimental declutter of papers and photographs. Okay. Here's an interesting thing. 2 things I want to share with you. One of them I wrote down, but the other one that just happened today was I saved a number of things that one of my categories was, and I think I have the Post-it note here, send these things to different people. Like there were some specific pieces of paper and little things and photographs that I thought people who were in those photographs might enjoy them. And I kind of made my rough piles of those a few days ago. And then today, as I went to go mail some of that, I was able to declutter even more because I was like, do I need to put that in that box, or could I put it in an envelope and then just recycle the box? So even when you're decluttering, there's a possibility that you can weed out even more, like things that you initially think you're going to keep. When you go back to them, you may feel slightly different and feel okay releasing even more. So that happened to me today, because I was mailing things and I thought, okay, I know I'm going to see some of these people in a few weeks. I have some heavy stuff I can bring up to Massachusetts with me, but some of this lighter stuff, let me mail it. Okay. But the other thing too is, and I'll just read what I wrote. I said, looking through my old photos, some good stuff happened even during the dark times. And the dark times weren't even that long. Literally, I said September of 95 is when I moved out of Stoneham, when I lived in Stoneham, and September of 2000 and when I moved out of Massachusetts. So it may seem like you're going to be going through sentimental stuff and you're fearful of seeing memories that make you feel bad. I was reminded that even when there was some sad, dark stuff that was happening, that there were some good points, that it all wasn't painted with the same brush. Yeah, you know. And I said, even during there was movement towards the good, even through the sad. And then I wrote, yay. And that was more of a note to myself, but I wanted to capture that. So I made sure I shared that with you. That don't be afraid of finding some things that are going to make you sad, because you also in with the things that may make you feel sad. You know what's a great feeling, frankly, is seeing the things that you were afraid to look at. Some of these photographs I carried around with me for 30 plus years. I didn't want to deal with it, whatever. And then I did. And I'm like, oh my God, this is delightful to feel nothing, to not have an emotional reaction, to look and be like, yep, we had a party. Yep, those are the people I used to hang out with. Even sad ones, frankly, that it's like, oh, that person passed away. And I'm not saying I didn't feel it, but it didn't tear me apart. I wasn't crying when I saw pictures of my ex. I was not even like, haha, I'm throwing you away. It's like, yep, that was a person in my life. That was an era and an error. And then being able to easily, without any kind of drama, put those things in the trash. They were picked up today, and I'm walking on sunshine. Okay. If you have decision-making dread too, Judy Dukes, or anybody here, you don't have to make a bunch of decisions. Now, I am slowing down with my decluttering of my, my sentimental stuff, because I have just done a lot. I feel like, honestly, I kind of did a marathon of it. So I say to myself right now, all right, I said I was going to do that stuff when my husband was away, and did I go through a lot. Is there anything right now that I need to do that is time sensitive? And when I said that, one of the things that came up in my mind was, I want to mail some of these things to a friend whose birthday is coming up. So that was kind of a time sensitive thing. But also, I realized that this is the time of year that I too want to be decorating for the holidays, or even just going through some of my holiday decor, because if I don't want it, much like the punch bowl I spoke about earlier, this is the season. This is the time of the season, as the zombies would say. This is the perfect time to be able to share those things and increase the likelihood that somebody who is looking for what I have can find it. Now, this was something I discovered, so maybe you will too. I'm just sharing with you some things that may be beneficial from my journey recently through decluttering regarding holiday decor. If you remember, I have mentioned that I used to collect a lot of stuff, and I collected, and it was fun. And then it wasn't fun, but I still had a lot. And then I started recently kind of, pulling things out and selling or donating or gifting, that type of thing. I've also totally, for the most part, stopped buying like holiday decor. It just really doesn't do it for me anymore. And that's okay. Last year, I noticed that I enjoyed putting out a certain few pieces, and then I got a little overwhelmed, frankly, with some of my smaller bits and pieces. I have a little kind of vintage Santa collection, little, like little figurines and things. And I allowed myself last year not to put those things out. So I labeled a tote or two, note, didn't put these out in 2024. So what I did this year was, before I brought up any other tote to decorate for the holidays this year, is I started with them first, to just say, hey, I was feeling about these things last year. How do I feel about them this year? Now, honestly, the thing I found was that I think I was just didn't want to unwrap all these tiny little things and make a decision of where I was going to display them. But since I started with this stuff earlier in this year, I had more energy and more surfaces. So I did unwrap those things, and kind of organically, I was checking in with myself. I was chunking down. I can stop at any time. I don't need to empty the whole tote. And even then, there were a few things, like just some votive holders and stuff, that I'm like, you know what? Good enough. I'm happy with what I have. And yet there were some things that I decided, you know what? I'm good with the amount I put out this year. There are some things that I put out last year that I'm not going to put out this year. And then I realized, well, maybe that's the way I'm going to do it. Is every year I will allow myself the flexibility, because I still like the stuff. I checked in with myself and I said, and I literally wrote a note that I put in one of the totes. December 1st, 2025. Went through this stuff. I still like it. I'm just not putting it out this year. So allow yourself the flexibility to chunk it down. Allow yourself the flexibility of still liking your stuff and maybe not decorating with this year. Maybe you switch it out next year. Even, here's a fun thing too. Think about this. I know that in previous years, I would put away some of my everyday decor. I would temporarily, probably I would have stored it, on some of these shelves here, to make space for my holiday decor. Now, the interesting thing about doing that is kind of looking from here to a month from now, when it would be what? January 2nd, after all the holidays gone, and going to be putting away the holiday stuff, is having those cleaner surfaces, saying, do I want to put out the decor that's been away from those surfaces for a while? So all sorts of opportunities to notice and become aware of how your stuff makes you feel, the quantity, the quality, the stories they tell you. Funny thing is, I think there is a Christmas ornament that I got in 1984, 85 from a friend of mine from college. We were in the same dorm. And it was just a plastic little rocking horse. It was sweet. It wasn't really my style, but she gave it to me. She unexpectedly passed away the summer between, I think it was sophomore and junior year, car accident. First person I ever was friends with that unexpectedly, a peer, you get a call back in the day, somebody's gone. I have kept her in my heart all this time. I recently came across a nice little note she wrote me, because I didn't go back to school one semester. I believe last year or the year before, I donated that ornament to a thing that they were looking for ornaments for people. And I feel okay because my friend Kim is still in my heart. So I don't need the ornament to remind me of her. But it did take me a while to get up kind of the courage to let go and know that it didn't mean that I was going to forget my friend. So that's kind of what I'm going through with holiday and decluttering of sentimental objects and stuff like that. How about you? How about you? What can I help you with? Or do you have a story that you want to share that might help somebody else? We've got another 20 minutes or so tonight. Um, the the microphone, I can hand the mic to you right over here. The chat is open if you want to share. I'm going to take a sip. I'm going to make sure I don't have any kale in my mouth from dinner either. Now, as you're thinking of what to share in the comments, and I want you to think of that, even if you don't write it in the comments. Yeah, Christina Glendale, nice to see you. Good evening, my friend. We were just talking about decluttering of sentimental objects and things. There we go. Christine says that we got a Christina and a Christine. Thank you for helping me sort through a box of pictures just now. Yeah, notice how sometimes knowing that somebody else did it and they survived and it was okay for them and they're telling you it will be okay. Honestly, much like me going in for eye surgery at the end of next week. I could be afraid of it, and yet everybody that I've talked to has had a good experience for the most part. And I also heard that some people regretted waiting longer than they should have. So notice how a story from somebody else, a trusted source, not, some paid spokesperson, but a story, a sincere, true story from a trusted person can give you a sense of nervous system safety to say, really? I'll be okay after I do this? Nothing bad will happen to me? Yeah. Yeah. Now, that one persona says, thank you for sharing that it's okay to keep Christmas items that you don't put out this year just because you still like them. Totally. One of the things that I would offer to you that, and I'm not saying there's any right or wrong way to do this. It was important for me, though, to not have the ones I didn't put out last year remain in the box this year. That way, I might have been pushing things off. But even if I did, the Christmas police, the Christmas decor police are not going to be like, I'm sorry, lady, this stuff's been in this thing for too long. You'll notice it yourself, but you may be avoiding making a decision, or maybe you just need time to make a decision, you know? Lori, nice to see you. Was in the cellar again yesterday. Outdoor moving reindeer in box never opened. Neighbor with kids said no, but my niece will take it. Awesome. Yay. Yay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Aw. Carla Jane's getting some good stuff in. Yeah. I've just realized how truly hard it is. It stinks in every way, but I finally had enough. There's no one here to save me or take this away for me. I've got to get through this Christmas, then do the hard things to make the good things come forward. And I will share with you right now. All right. Carla Jane, you're already doing it. Carla Jane, you are already doing the things to make the good things come forward. It isn't a good things will come forward. Good things are heading your way right now. They don't need to wait until you have stuff, all your ducks in a row. You are doing things by taking the actions and growing, you're calling the good stuff to you. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There we go. Erin's here. Erin's here and she's decorating too. She says she's late, but it took a while to get the lights on the tree. But I hope you got the lights on the tree. There we go. Yeah. And that one persona talking about Christmas decor. Um, uh, I lost steam. Yeah, notice I lost steam. I don't have steam. I don't have energy decorating this year and couldn't find places for some of the items. That's the thing that I think I need to do. And I am telling myself this story. So this may help you as well. Okay. Yay for them looking great. And yes, Christina Glendale, I'm a testament that you can do hard things. We are all testaments. Right, Christina? You rock. So what I'm going to do is this is going to make it easier for me in the future, this year and in the future with Christmas decor. And I almost want to say decluttering too, is I am going to find a place for the things that I like. And I'm going to take a picture of all of my little vignettes of what I did this year so that when I open up the decor next year, I don't have to say, where am I going to play? I don't have to make a decision. Where am I going to put this? I say, oh, that goes here. I've done that with certain things, and I realize I want to do it with more things so that there's almost just like oh gosh, what did we used to call it? A planogram, like a map of this goes here and this goes here and that goes there. Now, I can always deviate from the map if I choose to, but if I just want to not make any decisions, I can be happy where the little house goes there and the snow domes go there and the Santa collection goes here and those things go over there. I pretty much am happy with the quality of things that I put out, the quantity rather, because I only kept the good stuff. And for the most part, where I have put those things this year. If I haven't, I will ask myself, is there a better way where to place to put it? And I might move it there. But I'm going to take pictures and they're going to be time stamped for this, December of 2025. I will make a note. I will put a note on a piece of paper in with my Christmas decor for next year to say, hey, Beth of 2026, remember to look at your photos from 2025 to refresh your memory as to where you put certain things, you know? Yay. There we go. Melanie threw away materials from a contract that never materialized. Yeah. Letting go of a loss. Yeah. I love that. I love that. Christina Glendale is saying, this Christmas we are traveling, right? So I decided to put up our tree and just enough to make the house a bit Christmassy, but not so much I will be overwhelmed when I return. I love that. Notice that idea of not too little, nothing. It's not like none, not too much, but as we like to say with Goldilocks, just right. Yeah. Yeah, she loves Christmas too. I love Christmas and have my decor sorted to deck my halls. But this year, priority is travel and peace of mind. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, Stacy Babbage. You wish you would have taken pictures so I can remember where I put stuff last year. Do not cry about it. I see your little emoji. Do it this year. Do it this year. And if you are related to the person you were last year, because I know I am related to the me of last year, you may end up just organically putting things where you had them last year because it fits and it looks good to your eye. Be aware. Notice we're talking about the word noticing. Last year, you didn't really pay attention or notice. You did it, but you didn't think ahead to say, hey, you know what? And honestly, Stacy, I didn't take any pictures last year either. I have occasionally done it in years past when we would have parties. I would have very few pictures of the people at the party because I'd be too busy being the hostess. But prior to the party, I would take a picture of the house when it was all nice and decorated. So I could probably go back and honestly, it might be a kind of a fun thing. I was just thinking about this. Instead of laying in bed and scrolling on TikTok, I could scroll through my photos and create an album of, Christmas decor from years past to create almost my own Pinterest board that shows exactly my surfaces and my decor in different places that I put it. And I could choose to do the same, or I could choose to do something different. Yeah. There we go. Christina says, guys, a Polaroid or Insta camera of sorts is an organizing dream. I have pictures inside bins of how I set up everything in that bin. You are got it going on, lady. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't know if I would print mine out, but she's working it. It works for her. I don't judge. I know myself that I'm like, oh, I could easily make an album. So notice there's a few different ideas in what this does, because one of the things, as Judy Juke said, kind of up thread, as I like to say, is not necessarily decision dread. There may be that, but also decision fatigue, right? Yeah, and Christina Glendale says it helps me also know what's in that bin. Great idea, hon. Great idea. Awesome. But notice too, it also will help you next year, not have decision fatigue because you've already made the decisions of where things go. You can also, frankly, make the decision, be aware, and say, I can make the decision now that this is going to be, and you can make it public to whoever's around and to yourself. This is going to be the last Christmas where I go all whole hog. Or you could say, this is the first Christmas where I am going to simplify things. You can make those decisions right now and do something different. But think about what things make you feel good now. But then also porting yourself to this time next year. What would future you want you to do? And that might give you some opportunities to make their lives easier. You know, it's funny. I'm going to just, for giggles, I'm going to pull up my calendar. Now, as I do that, I'm going to pop them out. So let's see. December 2026. Christmas is on a Friday. Wednesday is going to be the 2nd. And yeah, what could you do during your decor this year that would not only make it good for you this year, but also set you up for feeling good next year? Just something to think about. As I said, I have written notes to myself and put them in my bins. Went through this. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Too much with seasonal items and decluttering areas in the house. Yes. It's okay. You get yourself some rest from fatigue and maybe take a break from some of the decluttering, but also note that, frankly, if you think about it, and I don't mean it in a mean way, I'm not saying anybody, including my own decor, holiday decor, is clutter, but it will clutter up your surfaces that sometimes are more clear. So if you are easily overwhelmed with visual amounts, that the extra that you're adding to your already existing stuff may be a bit much, you know? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And holidays come with different plans and activities, and it is totally okay to decorate and arrange as that year's seasons dictate. Yeah. I also think Thanksgiving, yeah, Thanksgiving is on the 26th. Oh my gosh. And my husband's anyhow. That's still November of 2026. I will just click off of that. But hey, speaking of calendars, I'm going to take a quick look here. So tomorrow morning, TikTok Live, YouTube Live. Thursday, TikTok Live, YouTube Live. Friday, TikTok, no YouTube and no declutter party. And then just as a heads up, you guys will know this before anybody else. Next week is going to be a very loosey-goosey kind of week because I will be traveling for a few days. And then, as I mentioned, eye surgery. So it won't be an everyday type of thing, but that's why it's so great that there are so many TikTok lives that have been recorded, or YouTube lives here on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel for you to just pop on while I'm not live. Also, I believe a lot of you are part of the Pen Pal Club. We haven't had a lot of new members, so whatever the last list I sent out should have most people. So you also have, if you're part of the Pen Pal Club, the opportunity to connect with people one-on-one or in groups. So don't forget, when I'm away or busy or whatever, you also have a nice community to hang around with. All right. Okay. So it's about 8:54, 8:55. We've got about 5 minutes left. I love it. My neighbor packs up her year-round pictures in bins of holiday decors. Yep. Then when she's putting away her holiday, she takes out her pictures for the rest of the year. Yes. So notice that, oh, sorry. I mean, Leslie, you're probably going to be running for the bathroom with all the noticing I've been saying. That's a cool idea because you may forget where things are. I sometimes like to have it go blank and then decide if I want to change anything up. But what a cool idea to make it easy. Make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on yourself now and you in the future. You in the future of when you go to take down your holiday decor in about a month or 5 weeks or so, or whenever you want to do it, how can you make it easy for yourself now? And do that. Cut yourself some slack. Okay. All right. So we only have a few minutes left. Anybody else have any questions you want to ask or stories you want to share in the chat? Please do that. If nothing shows up in the next couple minutes, we will wind down. What else can I tell you? Oh, this is a fun thing too, as some of you may be typing or not. One of the things I did schedule, now I'm not sending out the Zoom link until later, closer to the date, because I don't want people to misplace it. It's kind of like an invite to the party, but there's almost like a save the date on the secret page for a December holiday Zoom party. Now I know we typically say declutter party and then you're working on it. This is not a working party. This is a, hey, everybody who's part of the club here, and that's everybody who's on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. There is a date and a time. I don't want to make it public because this is still, even though it's just a handful of us here on YouTube. And we're just gonna, I don't know, you could wear your favorite pair of holiday earrings, a Santa hat. You could show up in a black hoodie. You could put on an ugly sweater. Do what makes you feel good. There are no requirements. And you're not even required to show up because, I mean, it's a party after all. And it's not like, what is that? There ain't no party like a Liz Lemon party because a Liz Lemon party is mandatory. No, a Beth Lennon party is not mandatory. Okay. But we've got a December holiday Zoom party where we can all just kind of connect. Christmas PJs, says Christina Glendale. Yeah. So it'll be, kind of around this bat time, around this bat channel, but you can see it's on the secret page, and mark your calendar. And you know what? We can clink a few glasses and raise a toast, right? Yeah. And I tried to make it on a day and a time where the most people could attend. And if you can't, then please know that we're thinking of everybody because we have a really good crew. We really do. This is one of the reasons why I'm so psyched that the way that I decided to keep out the trolls is working, because we have quality people, you know? And yay. And I love seeing the red and green hearts. That's really fun, you guys. Really fun. And hey, Therapy Gal Sue says, finish decluttering my to-do list before a late dinner. Phew, done. Thank you. I've got the party on my calendar. Yay. Yes. And I'm looking forward to it too, because it's going to be before our holiday stuff gets too crazy. But I'm feeling good about it. I hope you all can make it. And know that even if you can't, that you're there with us in your hearts. And I think I'm going to wind this down right now. Okay. I want to take off this hat. I want to scrub my head around. I want to get the kale out of my teeth. I want to take off my bra and get into my pajamas. Okay. But yay for everybody who showed up today. It was nice to see it. Erin, congratulations on the lights on the tree. Christina Glendale, you had some great ideas about how to do things with your Christmas decor. Shell has 2 bins of fall packed up. I love it. Leslie probably has to run to the bathroom with the amount of hydration words I gave. Have a great night, everybody. We've got TikTok lives and YouTube lives for the rest of this week. And I will be adding the ones for next week shortly. Okay. But in the meantime, let me see, get back to, this one's always an awkward one to turn. I'm always forgetting. Let me see if I can end it now. All right. Always a good one, friends. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.